and so forth.
You're ready.
All right, and thank you, everyone. We're back, and now we'll move on to item number 2. Item number 2 is discussion and possible action on Resolution 2022-55, a resolution establishing rules and regulations of the Meacham Meadows Housing Development at 99 Sunny Slope Drive.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. This resolution.
Microphone.
Yes, there you go. Thank you.
Mayor, council members, this resolution.
Now it went back off.
was-
It went back off again. Just tap it once, and it'll leave. There you go. Patience.
Mayor, council members, this resolution is establishing rules and regulations for Meacham Meadows as well as 99 Sunny Slope Drive. It's very high level. As they enter into their rental agreements, they will have the full rules and regulations. This is the document that our property manager needs in place prior to being able to place tenants in the home. I did present this resolution to our Workforce Housing Board, and that was prior to uploading it in Novus Agenda. So that's why what you have printed is a little bit different. They had some obvious things that needed to be stated, such as 2 parking spaces per home, no parking in the right-of-way, where the mail could be picked up for the tenants. So that was added in after the Workforce Housing. But I do have some recommendations that I took notes for that haven't been entered into, just based on their thoughts and ideas.
Okay.
They did not have any changes for page 1, the actual resolution.
Okay, did we establish, I didn't see it anywhere in here, what the late fee was?
No, that we were gonna have the property managers and as well as the security deposit, put that in there. That's something that's not notated either, unless you all have a rate you would like to have included.
No, I was just curious what the deposit and the late fee would be. So we're leaving that to the management? Okay,
Aren't the deposits usually first and last,
usually.
rather than,
And then a pet deposit, and then,
yeah?
yeah.
Because I believe on my rentals, it's first and last. There's not a different deposit amount.
That's awful hard, though, to
That's a lot, yeah.
get in, for people that are down and out anyway on some of these occasions, to pay that much money.
So you all have the authority to, if you'd like, we can place that into this document and make that what the Village of Ruidoso would like to do for our rental units.
But as being a previous landlord, that was my only recourse a lot of times. They get in it. I didn't put them in that position, but if they didn't pay something and then they left, which they all did, I didn't have anything to fix the place up. And they just walked on down the road until they found the next soft heart. So I think that we need to leave something in there that they have something in there to lose, whether the government gives them the money or not, because that's where they're going to get the money. And the people that we're talking to right now that are on the victims of the McBride fire, they've got funding. And they will pay a deposit. Is that not right, Manager Dodge?
Mayor, yes. Mayor, I do have a recommendation if you'll.
I'll shut up. Okay.
No.
What is it?
Mayor, I would recommend that we just charge you 1 month. When you look at the cost estimator that I developed, there's a maintenance operation, repair and replacement line items that come out of the rent and go into a special fund for that. So, my recommendation is that we take 1 month deposit as opposed to 2.
Okay, it's whatever y'all want to do.
So, so that's in addition to the first month's rent?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yes.
So it's just 1 month's rent, No, it's not in addition, it's just a
First
month.
Deposit.
Plus a month as your deposit.
Yes.
No, you're saying 2 months.
Yes, a deposit. Instead, I think the norm that they talked about was first and last month.
Yeah.
So this would just be the first month they would put down.
Yeah, just 1 month. So it's not a
Oh,
first,
so there's no deposit.
there's no deposit.
You're just
There's,
paying your rent.
yeah, that's what he's saying.
Yeah, the rent calculator has a repair and replacement in it.
For the whole development. You know, that little number that we put in there?
Yeah, but that repair and replacement is based on normal wear and tear. That's not based on having a tenant come in and trash the place.
Yep.
But remember, okay, so this is for not only the McBride Fire people that were unfortunate enough, but it's also for, it will be workforce that they're not, they don't have a lot of money.
But they're also paying, you look at the rents, the proposed rents. They're sometimes a third, and at least half of what's out there right now.
I know.
So, again, we can only do so much. You know, we went through this on the domestic violence shelter boards, where you can feed them, water them, clothe them, and then leave them alone for 36 hours, and they're back to doing whatever they were doing. So I think we have to have something to protect the people's money. That's just my point. But whatever y'all want to vote on.
Well, I like the 1 month.
I know.
It's okay.
Yeah, no, I know. It's
I mean, I like it too, but I just don't think it's practical.
Oh, yeah, I mean, and I agree with you, Mayor. These rents are a lot less, 50%. Well, and now, when you're comparing number of units, number of bedrooms, you're talking about half, at least, of what most rents are in the area. So there's already a huge savings.
But you're talking $3,000 to get in, and people don't have that.
Where do you come up with $3,000?
Well, okay, so if you did first and last month's rent, let's just, $900
So that's 1,800.
plus okay, so first, and then you're having to put up deposits
For
for
utilities.
utilities.
You're gonna have that no matter what.
Do what?
You're gonna have that no matter what, unless you go to unless you're able to
But
find a
we're
place that
talking,
utilities are
that's
included.
quite a bit of money to, how much does it cost for a new customer to have a water?
250.
250.
Okay. I think 1 month, because like manager said, we've got it built in.
Okay, so are you asking us to make that decision now?
So I'm taking notes on, things that we come to a consensus on, so I can repeat it back to you all as we get through the document, if
Okay.
that's all
Okay,
right.
I don't know that we have a consensus on that, do we?
No.
So,
Well, there's only two, so, Dr. Jackson, what do you think?
Personally, I like the first and last to get in. I think in consideration of all of this, especially with some of the other things I was reading about 3 pets and all of that, I don't think it's going to be prohibitive. And then it's just a set monthly rent after that. Utilities are going to be an issue, I think, because you not only have water, you have gas, you have electric. And if
There's
you
no
don't
gas.
have-
It's all electric.
it's all electric, Kim.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that'll be
That's going to be a hit. Just if they can qualify, if they've had previous units that they qualify for utilities and they are not in arrears, then that's going to be a help.
that's true.
So that's the way I balance it out. I think you ought to have some cushion in there.
Rifle.
I think that, to me, the non-refundable $250 pet fee per pet, that's where it's a lot. there.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, I'm just saying.
And that's where I was gonna
Because it's-
question,
And because it states that it's non-refundable. So if you move out and your pets did not cause any problem, you're just out that amount of money. So if you've got 3 pets, that's $750.
I
Two
don't
pets,
think you
500.
should, I think we should change
well,
the three.
well, I agree, the pet fee, but define the pet. My granddaughter has a gerbil, has a goldfish or a fish of some sort, and a cat. So that would be $750 for her, for my daughter to move in with her daughter's 3 pets.
Yeah. Yeah, it just says domestic pets. I think the intent is a cat or a dog,
Right.
but domestic pet, I don't know what the definition of a domestic pet is.
So that was what I was
Mr.
gonna,
Attorney, who probably has reviewed
goes
this.
up and
You don't know nothing.
Mayor, Council, I think we're talking about cats and dogs.
Yeah,
And that's fine, but again, here, some people have horses and some people
Yeah.
have cows. Remember that one time that cow was in the neighborhood forever, and I think they got him for cruelty because they had him roped to the tree to move it. I'll have to research that more. But that's fine, as long as we define a pet as a canine or feline, and that would be, what, the $250 deposit.
No lambs?
No lambs, no chickens,
I did.
I don't
look it
know,
up,
maybe chickens.
and domestic pets means animals which are not livestock as defined in the Agricultural Operation Practices Act, and which are often kept within a dwelling. Such animals includes dogs, cats, and similar animals.
It's similar. So a gerbil is not livestock.
No, it's not.
On
Well,
the
we can
security
do-
deposit, just to move in for the tenants, do you all want to stick with the 1 month or first and last?
I don't think there was a consensus on the 1 month.
Yeah, there isn't. I mean, I favor the 1 month because I'm confused on the first and last month. So that I could see, but then you start, I always thought that was the security deposit, not the payment for that month's rent. So in other words, and I could see the last month, but, proper planning, because, I'm moving out, got a place, I don't have to pay my last month's rent because I got that covered when I moved in. So that way I could use that month's rent to move into my new place.
As long as it's inspected and you have a clearance from,
Well,
Right.
yeah, and I'd like to clarify, for when I say first and last, is it's first and your security deposit is equal to 1 month.
yeah.
Okay,
But if you call it last, so let's say I'm moving out in December.
Right.
That means the end of December. So that means if we call it last month, that means I don't pay anything at the beginning of December. And then
Right.
when I move out, you have no deposit to go back on for any damages that need to be repaired.
okay.
So yeah, it's first month plus a security deposit equal to a month.
A month's rent, okay.
This is Counselor Eby.
Yes, sir, Joe?
I agree that we need to have some sort of, say, stop gate with that, and I believe that the first and last seems fair. That's common practice. And also with the getting on with the animals, defined as 3 household pets. Now, that could be, up to 40 pounds. My question was, should we limit the number of canines? Because they're the ones that are going to generally cause the most damage, and you have residents or people that would have up to 3 canines. And I just think that's just a little bit too much. So I was wondering if you all wanted to possibly restrict the number of canines down to 2. And there was another question on the point to where it seems that the move-in resident is the one that is responsible for recording any and all damages to the property before they move in and then submitting it to the rental management. But it seems like the rental management should have already inspected that when the last tenant moved out. So they should have already recorded all of the damages that had occurred. So that's just a couple questions I have.
Well, I see on number 3, the move-in inspection report, the tenant shall be provided a move-in inspection report from management, and then the tenant shall list all pre-existing damages seen inside and outside the unit. And then they
Yes,
return
sir.
the report to Berkshire Hathaway within 7 days.
Yeah,
So it
so-
sounds like there's an exit, and then the new tenant is given an inspection report, and if they disagree with it or whatever, then they fill it out, and then it's returned to the management, I guess, to be
All right.
determined.
Okay, so then the management had given the move-in tenant what they deem as the damages or whatever situation or condition the property is
Yes.
in, and then the resident verifies that and then either checks okay or no with
Yes.
that. Okay,
That's the way I read it. Do y'all?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
From a practical
Okay.
standpoint, with Berkshire, I know that that's not what happens. When it says here that tenants shall be provided a move-in inspection report, that's, here's a report. You know, you go through and list everything. They don't give them a list from the move-out of the previous one, saying, here's what we've already identified as being problems. They will.
Okay.
I believe what
Yeah,
they
that's-
do, Joe, is they go with the tenant is given 7 days, but I believe that the property manager will also go out there with the tenant and walk through at the completion to make sure that it's all filled out properly.
all right. I just didn't get that from reading the agreement there, that the management shall walk through with the resident or the move-in tenant so that they can be on the same page
Yeah,
upon move-in.
it doesn't say that, but that could be something that we specify.
Yeah, we
think
could
it
specify
should.
that. It just says the tenant shall be provided by management. So
Yeah.
we could talk about doing a mutual walkthrough.
Yeah, I think that'd be more ideal.
I do too.
I actually think it should be done prior to the move-in, not up to
Yes.
7 days after.
I do
Because when you're
too.
moving stuff in, you can ding walls
Oh,
and
yeah.
whatever and say, oh, that was here.
Right,
It needs to
sure.
be done when it's leased.
exactly.
Yes, prior to move-in. I agree there, Counselor Coughlin.
So, okay, so what about the deposit?
The consensus is, Counselor Doctor over here said that he thinks that there should be some sort of a deposit. Counselor Coughlin says deposit. I don't get a vote yet. Raffle Salas says,
Well, the 2-month, the security deposit and then the first month rent to move in.
Yes.
That's where I'm at.
And the security deposit equal to a month's rent?
Yes,
Okay.
okay.
that's what I'm getting at.
So the consensus is 3-1 deposit.
You didn't ask Joe.
Joe?
Oh, Joe, I forgot Joe's in heaven. Go ahead, Joe. He already
Yes, I
said
agree
it.
with that.
What did you say?
He already
I
said.
agree with the deposit.
Okay. So now then, the thing that I think was covered too was the amount of the pet deposits.
Yeah, so how would I phrase that first and last month's rent?
No? Go ahead, Coughlin.
First month and a security deposit equal to a month's rent.
Yep. Then on the pet deposit, is $250 too much?
Yes.
So what do you want to do? You
I
want to,
think I think that 3 animals is too much. I mean, that place is, now that we've got all the trailers in, that's a.
it's a lot tighter than you thought.
It's a lot
I
tighter than
think
it
we
looked like.
should do 2 pets.
That's where I'm
I
at.
would be agreeable, and I think maybe just, given what we've just talked about, if it's I have 2 things that are working with me. The non-refundable portion I have a problem with, because if they really don't destroy and don't soil the rugs or whatever it is, tile, then it should be a refundable $250. Besides that, the reason I like that is that then it puts it upon the leasee to ask for an inspection to show that there's been no damage. And if you make it refundable, that's kind of the carrot. The stick is, what did they do?
Right.
I think it should be, and only 2, if we do the 250,
flat-
only, just a flat,
Fee.
right, for animals, not per animal.
Not per animal.
No.
That makes sense.
Given the fact that you have the other covered as well.
So a $250 refundable?
refundable.
If,
I would say 75% of that refundable, because if they move out, you gotta have the carpets cleaned and
But then it's-
professionally,
but it said
dander
that They had
removal.
to do
Yeah,
that.
they have to do that
Oh, they
anyways.
have to do
Yeah,
it.
That
tenant's
in the
responsible
deal
for
it
that.
says that they have to hire a professional cleaner. And again, being into business, this is all make-believe. What y'all talking, they're not gonna hire anybody to do it.
Well, yeah.
They have to provide a receipt.
It's not gonna happen.
They do
Well,
that.
that's what I'm saying, your people will do that?
Berkshire Hathaway, who I use for my rentals, they require a receipt from the tenant. If you do not provide a receipt, they will have them cleaned again anyways and charge it against your deposit.
Yeah, now I've seen
Well,
that.
see that, I could understand that.
But if you go rent a rug doctor and do it, no, that doesn't count.
Mayor, there's no rugs.
Oh, yeah, well, that's
Not even
right.
in the bedrooms?
No.
Oh,
No, because we felt like that was an easy clean.
oh, okay,
So Rosanna and Adana, never mind.
never mind.
Okay, so what amount do you want for a total pet deposit?
Well, Sam, do you know, did the three domestic pets come up because that's what's allowed within our ordinance? Is three
Yes.
animals?
So, this is all recommended from the property manager.
Okay,
When I ran this by the Workforce Housing, Board, they recommended 1 dog and 1 cat, and no livestock, but the definition of domestic pets covers that.
Right.
So that was what they had wanted. So I'll let you all know.
Enforcement's gonna be the whole game here.
is that discriminatory though, if you say 1 dog and 1 cat instead of just 2
I
animals?
just say
Just say
two,
2
let's just
domestic
2.
pets.
2 pets would be
And if they
good.
want 2 dogs or 2 cats.
And Joe, you made a mention about canines being destructive. You must never have
Yeah.
had cats. Because I'll tell you, if
Yeah,
you get an
well, I
unneutered
also-
male in there, yeah, good luck.
well, one question I had there, since that was a recommendation from the housing board, is that, we restrict many things by the square footage, and we have, what would we have, 3, 2, and 1 bedrooms? Could we restrict the cats based upon the square footage or the number of bedrooms? Not the cats, I meant the household pets, based upon the square footage.
Man, what a
I think it's.
big web you're weaving.
It'd be easier just to say a number.
And I think you're discriminating a bit against big dogs, you guys. You're
I know,
saying
I saw
40 to.
that too,
Oh,
but
look
Luke
at-
couldn't
oh,
stay
look
there.
at you two.
Well, except
I don't have a big dog.
my comeback to that would be, okay, I have 1 dog and he's 80 or 90. and-
Or
and I'm-
100.
I'm taking up my 2 chits.
You know, what I'm saying is it's all about enforcement. How are you gonna do it? And that's how I wanna move it, this thing. I know that we're protecting it by the deposit, security deposit. You're gonna have a pet deposit, and you can limit them, but you're not gonna go weigh a dog. Like my dog, he's 45 pounds, and I'm gonna argue with you that he's just gained a little weight. So
just ate.
that's not what we're about.
No.
So I think we need to keep it simple and come up with pets, yes, no, and limit how many.
Well, the one thing I don't see is prohibited breeds, because I know my insurance will not
Yeah.
allow certain breeds
Yeah,
of dogs.
The housing board asked me to put in there another bullet that says no vicious dog breeds.
Well,
Said
that's
That's
subjective.
pretty broad,
Yeah.
Are
I
there
mean, there's,
certain breeds?
And if you put pit bull, I guarantee you go down to Humane Society, nearly everything down there's got pit in it. And they're good dogs.
They are good dogs.
but there's breeds that are prohibited by my insurance that
Oh, yeah.
you go, really?
Pit bulls,
But a
no.
Chihuahua will bite you.
You can't
Oh, yeah.
have, I can't even think of the names.
ankle biters. Yeah,
Ankle biters.
I think most veterinarians agree that chow is one that they don't really
Chow
want
is
to take
one,
care of.
yeah.
I mean, it's just in the DNA. They're wonderful with the family, but outside of that, they're just not a communal dog.
so do they have a list of those dogs? What is
They didn't define that. They just,
Oh, they wanted us to do that.
Oh, yeah.
we can't even agree, we talked for 20 minutes about carpet cleaning and we don't even have carpet. So,
You brought it up.
I did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
So, okay, so we're back to $250 for a pet deposit.
Period.
And then we're gonna limit you to,
And refundable.
and refundable, and we're gonna limit it to 2 pets.
Yes.
Okay, and what about people, I'm thinking of one lady that's, I think, applying, that has a seeing eye dog, and it's part German Shepherd, and I bet it weighs 65 pounds.
That has to be a waiver because
So we're gonna have waivers.
Waiver, yeah,
Okay.
that's on there for
If they're
service.
licensed,
they're a licensed support animal.
Okay. All right, so another, go ahead, Sam, what else you got?
Now, wait a minute. So we are going to limit the poundage of the dog? Because I had a beautiful, wonderful lab who was 100 pounds that was a baby.
Baby. No, I'm saying 2 pets.
Okay.
And then, but I was throwing in that bigger dog as a, seal the deal, but, you know, if we're having a waiver. But I just think that it should be 2 pets,
Okay.
and whether it's 80 pounds or
I agree.
65 pounds or,
So
Okay.
take out the weight limit,
Yes.
Yeah.
okay.
and
I agree
then
with
we have
that.
to look at that vicious breed, and then we'll have a DNA sample, I guess, that will be required.
Would you like us to check with the insurance policy that we have and just make sure that those breeds are listed if there are any?
Yes, that's good. And who's going to determine if it's vicious or not?
Exactly.
that's already covered in ordinance. Vicious animals.
Vicious animals, one, it said the
A
cops pulled
specific-
on?
A specific animal is deemed vicious, but not a breed.
Yeah, I like that.
I'll ask Ron to look into this with our insurance policy and see if there's listed breeds.
Okay? Man, you guys are really working through this. I'm proud of you.
The next portion that the board had a change for where it says, when outside the home, pets must be leashed while walking throughout the property at all times. It just wasn't as clear, and so I added that in, while walking throughout the property. And that pet waste must be picked up and disposed of properly. Free roaming of pets is not permitted. They didn't want cats even out there, so.
Because we're not going to have fencing, right?
Not initially.
They keep going down. It talks about fencing.
And then, continuing on, they were good with, 6, 7, and 8, but on 9, they don't want to have a doggy door, an opportunity for them to install that, so if I could get clarification.
You said no?
They don't want a doggy door to be installed in the homes.
I agree with that.
For the security of the property, I think that's not an unreasonable request because people can call in and out of those depending on the size.
Plus, the next tenant might
May
not
not
have
want
a
it.
dog.
Well, and then it also keeps the heat and the cool in the unit, and those don't.
Well, Susan's 100-pound dog, I mean, I can crawl through that one, and I'm not a skinny guy.
My wife can climb through ours, but I don't worry about heat and cold. It closes, but I would agree. So, but no they're not going to be chained up outside. We've already determined that.
Right.
So during the day, they're going to be left in.
Yeah, I know. It's just, I feel a little like Pollyanna.
So we in agreement, no to a doggy door?
Yes.
So with the fencing, can I go in and put a fence in my
That's how it
place?
states now. All work and material will be at the tenant's expense. If the size or height of fencing requires a permit, the tenant shall secure a permit and provide a copy with a proposal.
But it can
That's what I
attach
wanted
to
to
the
ask you
unit.
all.
But Sam, it couldn't attach to the unit, as I understood it.
Correct.
It'd
Yeah,
have to be
that's what it said.
freestanding pole with the fencing there. The other question I had is, what about adjoining units? So that would be a common fence line. Are they allowed to tag onto that to make their fence for the neighbor? That wasn't clearly stated.
So should the fencing be subject to landlord approval?
Yes.
Because somebody can come in and put in a wood fence.
Exactly.
And now you've got a maintenance issue going down.
Or a fence that
Yeah.
isn't very,
Well, it's going to have to be permitted,
yeah.
but still the type of fence,
I think we have to get approved fencing
right?
and then have it installed, because I don't want to see, I mean, I have a friend that thinks he's put up a great fence, and that's, if you're missing any, what do you call those you load all your supplies on, pick it up with a forklift.
Yeah.
The pellets.
Pallets, that's what he built his fence out of, and he thinks it's awesome, and it looks like trash. So, again, I don't want to be so Pollyannish, because I have had tenants, while good people, their tastes are very not so good.
I don't know that they'd be able to get a permit to put up a fence made out
I'd
of
say they'd
pallets.
be doing it. But I was thinking it needs to be approved by the landlord.
Yeah, approved by the landlord. Because I could see, I know some people that would put up a fence and say, yeah, the fence is fine, don't lean on it.
Yeah.
So,
Or string some roll-out fencing wiring.
yeah. Get some hog wire.
And they're not gonna have money to do all this.
You'd be surprised.
Are we on the line here? Do you have any other?
If y'all are comfortable with that language, those are all of the recommendations from the Workforce Housing Board.
At this time, we're not going to have any carports or anything?
No.
No.
And we're still trying to decide, because the cost of the decking has escalated so much. And I would eventually like to see us be able to obtain some grants that we could put in fencing, that's standardized. But, go ahead, manager.
Yes, Mayor and Council, right now, with the pricing that we got, we're having to pay wage rates on this, and that's driving up the cost. But just, for instance, the decks are ranging anywhere from 20,000 to 28,000 per deck. So.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, and it does
Davis
have,
Bacon rates and all.
it does have a covered on it, what we're looking at now, and deck. So we're still looking at that. If we go that route, you're talking another $400,000 just on the decks. And, right now, we'll be coming back to you. With this one, I'm recommending that we move this, continue this item once we take your input to the next meeting. And then that'll give us an opportunity to tie down the cost on the decking and whatnot. But, that's kind of what we're facing right now, probably about, we still have about 200,000 to work with, so we would have to, locate another 200,000.
Because I think the decks are important.
Oh, yeah, they
And a lot of the people are gonna use that for outdoor fencing for their dogs.
Yeah. On number 10 on that page, talks about the tenant shall provide management with proof of rabies vaccine and registration to gain pet approval, so they'll have to get them registered within the village.
Yeah, and very few people, even this guy, didn't even know that we were supposed to.
This guy.
Well, there's another ordinance coming forward from Bobby, where we might be addressing that as well. So there will be, I've been working with Bobby on it. You wouldn't have to register your pet anymore, pay an annual license if you have a microchip.
Perfect.
That
It's
works.
one time covered.
Okay.
That works.
And so these are going to be smoke-free, can't smoke inside, okay.
They'll be smoking out on their porch that we don't have money for yet.
There's, in that common space, there's a little square where you can go and smoke.
And no pet food outside.
Yep.
Again, these are only rules that will be enforced if it becomes a problem.
Well, because, boy, the critters, the skunks and the raccoons and all that.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want that.
Tell me about it.
Maybe have some different stations for rags for walking your dog, and you can pick it up then.
Then somebody's got to keep supplying it with bags. You just take a bag with you
Got it.
until Walmart goes away with providing the plastic bags.
Like we do at the dog park. People bring them and we stick them in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so what holes do we still have, Sam?
Exhibit A, the rental unit cost.
Mayor and council, on this one, I have, on the cost estimator, I have worked in $200,000 for the decks. You know, so these numbers are pretty tight, and this is on a 25-year,
Amortization.
hold on one second. It was a 260-month. Yeah, 260-month. That's what happened to the calculator on this. 264, I'm sorry.
264. So that's 22 years instead of 25?
That's correct.
Okay, we moved it to 22, and that's, these numbers are reflective of that on Exhibit A, starting with unit number one, $835. Sam?
Yes,
Okay.
So the AAAs, Mayor and Council, we switched out two of the AAAs that were going to be smaller units for 3 bedrooms. So we have a total of 5 3-bedrooms now. And then, you know, the cost, you know, this is on a cost for service basis. So when you look at the Karsten 2 bedrooms, you know, those are the ones that are coming in at $923. And that's the one that we're going to have more of. And then we have 3 2-bedrooms from Karsten, or 3 3-bedrooms from Karsten that are coming in at $1,002.
Yeah, they're the most expensive.
Yeah. And then the 3-bedrooms from AAA, well, I said that one already, 835, and then the 2-bedrooms from AAA at 820.
So we're back to 4 3-bedroom.
5.
Including
Five.
the
We got
Sunny
one on
Slope
Sunny Slope also.
at the very bottom.
Oh, getcha.
So Tim, we had talked about the, in the calculator, the cost of the land. Did we leave that in there? Did we?
We took that out.
Excluded
since There's not a depreciation on it, so,
And that's why we've gone down to 264 months instead?
yes.
Okay,
We felt like it was appreciable, wouldn't appreciate like the rest of it's land, it's ours.
right.
And our goal is workforce housing or affordable, so that was the consensus that we took.
and our AAA, 2-bedroom homes are 2-bath, 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
And those guys really worked with us. They
They've
all
been
did.
great.
So these figures are on 22 months. 22 years. And you have your R&R built into it. What percentage was that again?
Between maintenance, repair, replacement, operation, and your replacement cost factor, it's 28%.
Okay, so that's gonna, in that is inclusive of 28%.
100% of development cost and housing cost, minus land.
Minus land, okay. I think it's great, honestly. I'm surprised that you were able to keep it that low because we were bumping that the whole time, especially with, and Zeke and those guys doing a great job even through all the rain.
I was watching them move those things around. That is amazing,
Yeah.
the way they do that.
So you just need a consensus that we're going, Does everybody look at these? And we've talked about these numbers ad
Can we
nauseum.
talk about Exhibit C? Number 1, the rent payment policy. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4th sentence. It says payments to Berkshire Hathaway basically can be made at the office in your location. That's kind of confusing. It makes it sound like at their location, to me, there's going to be an office where they can make it there. I think just the wording on that. Almost like an apartment building where you'd have an on-site manager.
I'll put the address for their
Okay.
office.
Yeah, I would be specific.
And then a question, and then it says, or via online portal with a credit or debit card. Are those credit and debit fees charged to the landlord or does Berkshire cover those? Do we know?
I don't know. I took what the property manager gave me and just cleaned it up and put it in this format.
I believe they're charged to
The tenant,
tenant.
they should be, because
Oh,
that's
okay.
getting prohibitive, it really is.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
we can't pay for their fees.
No.
Well, I didn't know, some places, they'll deduct the fee out of, what the payment was, and they deduct the fee and then pass along. The other thing is under number 3, at the very end, there's no need for two periods there.
Good catch. That's why we call you Scoop Coughlin. He's always snagging that.
You're gonna miss me.
You're proofing, I'll send you.
You know, just don't ask me to prove my own stuff. It's horrible.
So, so are they starting to put the skirting around now?
Not quite yet. Zeke, do you want to give us an update where we're at? And Mayor.
Why can't we get cheaper porches?
Yeah, come on.
Mayor and council, right now, the pricing of materials, along with everything else, and the high scale wages is the reason.
That was a rhetorical question. I withdraw that.
Okay. The skirting, right now, there's 11 mobile homes that are parked in their rightful place. Today, we started the water, sewer, and electrical trenching from the property lines into each home. And so once that's completed per home, then the manufacturers will be back up to do the skirting.
Okay, yes, of course.
So, things have moved along really, really good in the last few weeks. Once we finally dried out, we've been making some really good progress, and as you can see, the homes are placed now, 11 out of the 17, and so it's really making that property a little smaller than what it looks like on paper.
I know.
Yeah,
It's definitely, it's taking shape, and skirting will go very quick. Once they
Yeah.
get back out to do that, the skirting will go very quickly, and then it's a matter of getting their final inspection signed off on before people can occupy those.
right. So will they occupy before we get the deck on?
Well, they're gonna have stairs of some sort.
Correct. Right now, the house manufacturers supplied one set of deck, or one set of steps.
Stairs.
And so, currently, I told them just to place them on the flatter side, because some of those do kind of drop off. The decks are gonna be kind of raised, so some of them are at the front doors temporarily, some of them are at the back doors temporarily, just to keep the contractors moving in and out, doing their stuff.
Yep. I was surprised. Some of those are at ground level on those first ones we put in, the front door.
We've had some of them flipped as well, so that the windows are all facing out, the big windows.
Out towards the golf course? Out towards the
north-south.
roads.
The ones in the center are facing north-south.
But, so are we gonna wait for the decking before we rent them,
No. I think what he's saying is they have steps to get in them.
right?
Correct.
And their steps, believe me, I had one years ago that I used for years. They're not optimal. They do have a rail on them, don't they? They have a rail, and it's usually like 3 steps to get up into the house. But we're gonna have to really work that number for the decking, or the porches, whatever you want to call them. I think that's a critical point to these. But, in my opinion, not prohibitive for occupation. I mean,
Correct.
So when do you think that we will be good for occupying? I know weather has stuff to do with this, but.
I'm shooting from the hip, I'm gonna say early.
January.
Yeah, early in the year.
Okay.
So Zeke, I noticed some of those as they were bringing them in, there's like stress cracks in them. So once they're all finally put in place, then the manufacturer comes back and takes care of that?
Correct,
Okay.
correct. Yeah, their contractors will come in and go home by home and fix any structural or cosmetic inside and out. That'll happen once everything's tied down and.
So the ones I noticed, it's on the exterior, like coming out of the corners of the windows.
Right.
Do they just caulk those, or do they replace the siding?
That I don't know, I can't speak to that, that's completely separate from our contract, I don't know how in-depth they go into their repairs and stuff like that, but that's
But
based on the home manufacturer.
Will we have somebody on site going through these?
yes, we'll have a final inspection. I don't know who's going to actually do that. I figured Powers or Dave or one of those guys in Am I correct?
It'll probably be a combination of us.
Going through and doing a final inspection.
Yeah, because I sure want some of the village to do that.
Absolutely.
Probably the property manager and village staff will do that.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, Zeke, I just had a question. In the remote recesses of my memory, which is not always good, I remember that at one point, Trek decking was above wood, and then it switched. Is that the case now with synthetic Trek decking, that it's less than wood or not?
So, Counselor and Mayor, we did price out options for solid wood decks as opposed to just Trex decking. The cost wasn't substantially more. They really weren't that much more, because the structure of the deck is still treated wood, painted. So the only thing you're adding the Trex on is the actual deck itself. So the cost for Trex wasn't, it wasn't super high compared to just wood, but the maintenance on that in the long run is a lot better, so. We pay a little more now, but it saves you.
With the Trek decking?
Correct,
Because you're not having to do the sanding and refinishing and all of that.
correct.
Well, there's different grades of Trex. So
Definitely.
we're talking about the better grade, because some of them last longer fading and whatnot than
Yeah, the
others.
fading is,
Yeah, that's a good question. I'll have to check into that. I'm not sure what type of Trex was proposed
Yeah.
in those cost proposals, but I can double check that and see.
Because I looked into Trex when we redid our deck. At that point, there was a pretty substantial difference. But then I also realized that there's like 3 different grades of Trex, and it just depends on what you do. And even now, still, some people say Trex, it's not worth it. It's, especially if you're gonna have dogs on there, their nails are gonna scratch it, but they're gonna do the same thing with wood.
but like the wood, at least once a year you have to treat it, and twice a year so that's a lot of maintenance as well.
Yeah, our weather in West Sund are not good to wood.
Okay,
Okay, so we'll just look at that when the time comes.
right.
But it's not substantial is what we're hearing. Okay? So January,
Fingers crossed, yes, sir.
okay?
There is some work to be done by the home guys that are outside of our purview, but, that's, like I said, shooting from the hip, that's my best guess, that we shouldn't be into January too long to have
Okay.
homes occupiable.
Okay. What else, Sam?
That's all that I have.
Mayor, my recommendation is that you do take a vote for continuance of this. Move it to the next meeting.
Okay? When y'all good with the dish installation?
Yeah, as
Yeah.
long as it's not attached and
Yeah, it's not attached.
Do you need a motion?
Yes, if we could get a motion for continuance, I just wanted to make sure. What are the penalties? That's what I'm always asking, like on yard maintenance. What, if they're not maintaining their yard, I don't want to know the law if we're not going to enforce it.
It's
So
covered.
how are you going to enforce it? It says,
It says failure to do so will result in yard maintenance being completed by our in-house maintenance at the tenant's expense.
and so Berkshire Hathaway has in-house,
Yes,
okay,
Well, they have contractors that they use.
okay. And then that will be added to their rent. And if they can't pay that additional rent that's cost for default,
and they get that 30-day notice to vacate.
It's less than that, I think.
15?
Well,
I don't know, there's different
This
notices.
one's,
for
yeah, and
different
it
things,
says
yeah.
notice to vacate
There's a
is
3-day,
30
a
days.
5-day or 7-day, a 10-day, I don't know.
It says 30-day notice in writing. But I don't know if that's for the tenants. That's if they're wanting to leave.
Yes.
Early termination, forfeit security deposit, move out inspection.
Oh, that's it? So early termination is just a forfeit of the security deposit?
Yep,
Because it used to be, if you had, like a 1-year lease and you move out after 8 months,
You
you're
own the
still
remainder.
responsible for the next 4 months, or until it's re-rented.
where's the portion that talks about defaulted?
I didn't see any of that.
There isn't anything specific. Does that fall under the Uniform Owner-Resident Relation Act?
Yes.
So they just cite that they'll be provided a copy. Their lease agreements should detail all of that.
Anything else?
I've got one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
So I know we don't have anything to do with putting people into the homes. That's Berkshire Hathaway. So when will they know, are they looking at people right now? Getting.
They've got a list.
So they know who is going to go to these homes?
No.
I don't think they know.
I don't-
They have a list
The
of them.
process is the prospective tenant has to go online. There's a fee and they have to fill out all the stuff and they do a background check and all that. I don't believe they're doing any of that yet because the property's not available. They don't have a move-in date. But they may have like written down on a piece of paper or something.
How long
list of
does that
people.
take after we say, okay, we're ready to move in?
It depends upon the prospective tenant putting in their information into the computer. It's like really quick.
My understanding is they need this document before they can even start
Start
placing,
looking, okay,
to ensure they have the income to be able to
Okay.
afford these units.
okay. Well, Mary, I'll make a
Motion to continue?
I move that we accept Resolution 2022-55, a resolution establishing rules and regulations of the Meacham Meadows Housing Development and 99 Sunny Slope Drive.
Second.
Okay, were we having a motion to approve this or to continue it?
Continue.
Oh, I'm
We'll
sorry.
take back your comments from today.
Yeah.
Incorporate
Okay,
them into the
I
resolution.
apologize.
Okay, no, I should have jumped in earlier. I just
So I amend that to say continuing,
continuing.
I accept the amendment.
right?
Okay, any final discussion?
To the next regular scheduled
Yes.
meeting?
To the next regular scheduled
Not the
meeting.
workshop. Okay.
Joe, do you have anything?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Basically, is this just a motion to postpone?
What, this one is to actually move it to the next, yeah, same, just different language, yes.
But just to keep it kosher,
Do you want me to say postpone?
please,
Please.
to the next regular meeting.
So I
Or
move,
you could accept it as a friendly amendment.
I do so.
Mayor, with all the changes, I'd recommend that we do hear this again in the workshop and then also just for transparency.
Okay, that's another one then.
So postpone it until the workshop in December.
I'll accept that. But my question is, now that we got the rates for rental, can Berkshire move forward
Not until it's paid.
with,
We can't, it has to be approved first.
see, that's what I'm worried about, delaying it more as
No, it's
far
not
as
gonna-
getting the agreement, because they have to get the agreements established, right?
My guess is they're probably not going to do anything until we have a firm
So it's
move-in
done.
date.
Okay.
Joe, we can hear you.
He's scraping,
Utilities and all that.
I'll be quiet.
Yeah, it sounds like you're laying tile. I appreciate your commitment.
So, Mike,
okay.
I have a question. Postponing this to the workshop, does that mean that we would have to take action at the workshop?
Oh, gosh.
No, it's only a workshop.
Okay.
What's that? You can in a workshop unless,
Right, it's only a workshop.
it's only a
So,
workshop.
so we postpone it to the workshop,
the
and at the
next-
workshop, we put it on the agenda. Okay, just want to make sure we got it clear.
Is that good
Yes, sir.
over here?
Yes, sir.
Don't- Remind me next time to say, Tim, make,
Gary?
Okay, so Jenny, we're good on that motion?
Yes, we are.
Okay, does everybody understand it?
Yep.
Okay. Roll call, please, Jenny.
Counselor Letterman,
aye.
Counselor Salas,
Aye.
Counselor Eby,
Aye.
Counselor Jackson,
Aye.
and Counselor Coughlin.
Aye.
All right, well, I appreciate that. I believe we have a closed session.
Mayor, we don't have a closed session, but we do have an employee matter to attend to in the break room. It's Yvonne's birthday.
Oh, today's Yvonne's birthday.
Oh, all right.
We had several. Okay, so that concludes the program for today, folks, and so we appreciate you being here with us. This meeting is adjourned.
Yeah, thank you for being here, Janet. Denise.
It was good to see you guys. I hadn't seen hiding her hair of you guys. Well, I used to see y'all walking all the time. And then just the other day, somebody was asking about Jana. I wish that she was out at the airport. I said, oh, she was too. Thank you very much. Yeah, while I'm here, I'm getting texts from people saying there's trash mattresses over by the trash can.
But then that was the other category, because they're all derived from wolves.
Yeah.
How do you define it?
Funny how people can.
Yep.
There, yeah, that one that I found online was 20.